Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Polish American Brotherhood. I know we've been on a break from live streaming for a little while, but your favorite duo, father and daughter team, are back live on air. How are you doing, Dad?
Hi, everybody. Marian Stepański, and we are here to talk today a little bit about politics, about our dear President Trump, his achievement in the politics, and, what happened now in Rome, that all the dignitary went for the funeral of our Pope Francis. So, kind of, we know we are a short time on this world, and we have to do whatever we can accomplish for the new generation, and keep going with our life.
You know what's pretty interesting? So I have been in Louisiana for the past little while. Did a little vacation with one of my best friends. And so the Pope had passed away when I was there. And the last time before that, when I was there, the Pope also stepped down. So I feel like every time I'm visiting New Orleans, something's going on at the papacy. So that was kind of interesting.
Yes. Well, we a little bit sad. We will be waiting who's going to be the next Pope. Hopefully, going to be another John Paul or Pope Francis.
Actually, I heard the front runner is Filipino Pope.
Yeah, it's time. Actually, I would like to be a Filipino Pope because, the Filipinos people are very believers, they're very nice people, and I will be happy to have a Filipino Pope.
The Philippines and Poland are regarded as two of the most Catholic countries in the world. Actually, in Poland, they have a Catholic radio, they have Catholic television. They actually have the largest statue of Jesus. We think that it's in Brazil. That's the one that Rio de Janeiro is very known for, but actually, it's in Poland that has the largest Jesus.
That's right. The Jesus statue is the biggest one in Poland. Cannot even pronounce it. I'm Polish, but I cannot even pronounce the proper way where the statue is located. But it is a little bit like a west part of the Poland. So I never saw it, the statue. I went to the new basilica, which looks like a big church in Poland. It's not too far from that statue.
Yeah. So as we dive into this live stream, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Please be sure to smash that like button. Post a comments after we conclude this show, because it really helps to drive the algorithm. Trying to reboot the channel and everything. I got 2 new videos I'm going to be dropping for you guys this week. Dad and I had a very busy weekend. We went to the 100-year anniversary of our hometown of Oviedo, and it was quite patriotic, so that was quite nice. They ended with "Proud to be an American," and you can't help but wonder if Trump hadn't won, then would they have even been playing that song? And the second thing we hit up was a local festival out in Mount Dora. It was the Blueberry Festival, and that was very, very nice.
Yeah, we tasted a little bit of fresh blueberries, and the people was very nice. A lot of people. Actually, I've been first time over there for such a big festival, and I enjoyed the time over there. I taste the fresh blueberries, and also we interview a few people, which we're gonna show on our video.
I thought was interesting. One of our last guys that we had filmed, very, very big patriot and everything. And then when, I asked him to give a shout out to his business and tell us about why his booth was there at the festival and everything. So when he went into talking about the business, and then when I turned off the camera, his manager came up to me, was like, "Do not post that video and everything. You saw what's going on with Elon Musk." So it's a little unfortunate that, patriots still have to be in like the hiding. I feel like things have changed now with, the majority of America voting for the president, but those leftists definitely come out to be protesting against pro-President Trump businesses. So that was like a little sad, but I gave him my word that, of course, we're going to be supportive of his business and abide by any wishes that he has. So like he said, it was fine to post like his employee being patriotic because they were all decked out in patriotic American flag clothing while they were out there promoting their business. And that was a little sad for me, but I get it. What are your guys' thoughts? So drop a comment in the chats. Shout out to our regulars. Devon, thanks for joining us. For Unapologetic American, hey, how's it going? W, hey, good to see you in the chat.
Yeah, we see Davon all the time. Very good friend, She's all the time with us. But one thing, what I want to say, when we went to Magdora for that Blueberry Festival, our dear friend Adam Francisco, he joined us over there. As you can see his also videos on Adam Francisco.
Yeah, what's great is when we do those collabs and everything, you can see the video as it drops from my side and then also see the video as it drops from his side. And then afterwards, we shot a little bit around Lake Yola to see if we'd have any other traction. Conservative Poet was with us also out there. So I'll be sure to be dropping that video very soon.
Yeah. They've been asking if I have new sunglasses. Yeah, my daughter ordered for me.
Yeah, I got him the sunglasses that fit properly over his glasses.
Mm. I don't know how you like it, but I'm okay with it.
I think it looks really cool, Dad.
Yeah. So Adam Francisco, he feels much better now. As you know, he have a kidney problem, and we're sorry for that. I got my problem early, so now I'm getting a little bit better. My health improving. I going to gym every day and eating more healthy food. And eventually we're gonna start making videos already about the videos which
about the health, about good health and everything. So part of Make America Healthy Again, supporting Robert F. Kennedy's initiative with Make America Healthy Again, and we can see that like even in the past couple days, they've banned several of the food dyes, which are already banned in Europe. And I know like my friend who was visiting from Europe, it was the first time he ever tried a maraschino cherry, and I think it has like red 40 in it. That's why like it's banned in Europe, and so he'd never tried a maraschino cherry. But you got to question what's in our foods.
Okay, Davon, we want to say hi to you, especially to you, because whenever we live stream, you're all the time with us. Okay.
Yeah, but we can always count on Devon to like as one of our mods, also very faithful for always tuning in when we're live, to always hitting that subscribe button, and also or hitting that like button, then also commenting on our videos, which again really helps to drive the algorithm. So if other faithful subscribers to and followers to the Polish American Brotherhood could jump on the bandwagon, that significantly helps us. Because again, we have to like work on remonetizing the channel since we had taken almost like a 2-year break. So we have to get our watch hours up, and then I think that's the only thing we need to do to get the channel remonetized. So that's why you guys don't see any super chats like available and everything, because like we have to hit the watch hours in order to have it remonetized for the ads, and then a certain threshold of watch hours for the super chats to be reactivated.
Okay, that's great. We also want to talk about a little bit politics. Our president doing very good. I'm so
100
happy
days in
about
office. 100 days in office.
Yeah.
Promises made, promises kept.
As I promised to you, I'm going to mention also about my big project. I'm writing letters every week to President Trump and also Elon Musk about to tell him that my project will really make MAGA in America, because we want to see the MAGA, make America great. That's our goal. It's not only our president goal, but also all American goals. That's why we vote for him, because of the MAGA. And hopefully he's going to achieve. But I would like to help him with my MAGA also, which is the project to solve the retirees problems. And solving the retirees problems, we automatically would solve the homeless problem. it goes together, okay? Because America is so beautiful country, so rich country, and we don't want to see homeless people just sleep on the street or doing whatever they're doing on the street. We want to put them like on a farm, you know, and also build my project in Greenland and Baja California that would solve a lot of problem for people, retirees who mostly live in California, because California getting too expensive, you know, and the politician, all what they doing, just thinking about themselves. They don't think about average people who work very hard. And if we can build our project, you know, so not going to be too expensive for the government, and the people can retire very easily without worrying that the money will run away. You know, they deserve a better life when they retire, working 30 years and have no criminal record. We can take care of them really good, okay? And anybody who wants to support me in this, welcome to do something and help me with that, okay? We can write to the politicians about it that my Mariana project is the greatest project that we can achieve.
Absolutely. Hey, Snooks, thanks for joining in on this evening. Always great to see you as well. Again, one of our faithful mods who has always been with us from the very start. So thanks for joining us, Snooks. Speaking of helping Americans, what are your thoughts on the politician that flew over to El Salvador to help a non-American?
Well, I supporting our President Trump that if you want to come to America, you have to come the legal way. You cannot just come whenever you want and live whenever you want. We want to know who is coming to America, what's the reason, do you have check the background, fingerprinted, you know, so we know who you are. You know, you cannot just do criminal things like the MS-13 coming here and disturbing our good citizens.
TDA,
and
Agua.
they have to be deported. So I 100% supporting President Trump. All the illegals who coming here, they breaking the law, and they automatically, when they crossing the border illegally, they are criminals. So they deserve to be turned back and get them out. And if they coming again, put them in a secure prison that they will get what they deserve.
Yeah, the as they were calling him on the news, the Maryland man who's actually the El Salvador citizen who was deported over to El Salvador. He had a deport order. We've seen people who are multiply being deported, then coming back into the country, committing crimes, and it's like, these are things that shouldn't have happened. Like, my thoughts on the El Salvador man who was deported in regards to the politician going over there. It's funny, like, how he felt so inspired to be taking this out of country trip to be helping a non-American when within his own district he had there's been people who have lost their children to even murder by illegal aliens coming into the country, and he barely acknowledged when those murders had taken place, but yet he felt so inspired to be helping this this non-American.
Well, one thing I don't understand, the Democrats, why they crying about some kind of criminal MS-13 guy from El Salvador who came here illegally, while we have a lot of problems with our own citizen sleeping on the street, and the Democrats don't cry about it, those people. So we have to do something about it. More people we're gonna get to support our President Trump, because he's a big patriot, American patriot, okay? And we have to help him. He cannot do everything on his own. So more Americans will support him, then he can achieve more for America, you know? And we have to make bring our country to the glory when used to be like America, okay? A rich country that everybody was jealous about, that we live in a beautiful country. And President Trump wants to bring the glory to America. And without showing him that we really support him, he cannot achieve what fast enough. And don't forget, he's going to be only 4 years here, and we don't know who's going to be the next, because Democrats always find some kind of loophole to get the good people out. So that's really sad that we don't show him more support than he deserves.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dad, I want to change gears to something that you're passionate about talking about, and that is the upcoming Polish elections. So, what's going on there?
Yeah, in Poland, May 18th, there's going to be election, and President Trump supporting, of course, the law and justice, which we call Prawo i Sprawiedliwość. Okay, in a short, is PIS. And if we get the president from the law and justice, that's we're gonna be more connected to United States. And the things what's happening in Europe, it's not really good. Okay, the Brussels wants to make the one country in Europe, and all the countries supposed to lose their sovereignty. I don't support that, because we in Europe all kind of have a different cultures, all kind of this, and we cannot just be like really one country. Originally, we support that we're going to be like one country with sovereignty of each countries, okay? And that's why there is a problem now. And President Trump support that 3Cs, which is countries from the Middle Europe, which people don't understand what mean 3Cs. Is a Baltic Sea, Black Sea, and Adriatic Sea. So all the Balkans country and Croatia already joined the 3Cs, Hungary, Slovakia, Czech. We have even Austria, which speak Germans, okay? They are still in 3Cs. And President Trump promised to help to create the 3Cs, And what we want also to help President Trump to achieve the peace in Europe, because what Russia is doing is not right, okay? The Ukrainian country is supposed to be free and sovereign country. Not everybody have to dictate that. And Ukraine also are supporting President Trump that have to pay for the help United States giving to them.
What explain more about the 3Cs initiative for those who don't know exactly what it is. Is it like similar to NATO? Is it similar to the European Union? What is the goal of it, and what do you think it's going to achieve by forming this 3Cs initiative?
Well, there is two major powerful countries like Russia and Germany, which want to dominate those smaller countries. And that's what was the even Second World War about, and First World War, to dominate the smaller countries. So there was a Polish marshal, his name was Piłsudski, who found the 3Cs, that if we joined all the countries, the small countries in the Middle Europe together, then we're not going to be probably so mugged by the either Russia or Germany.
Yeah, because there's been a long history of invasions into that territory as well, right?
Well, Europe is not that big, has a lot of small countries, and there was always the border dispute, Like right now, there is a border dispute in Ukraine because Russia thinks that Ukraine belongs to them. They're not supposed to be the sovereign country, But the Ukrainian people was also fighting like Poland for all the time to be independent country, that they can rule themselves. And actually, the war in Ukraine is about the minerals. Ukraine is very rich in minerals, and everybody wants it, And there is a lot of oil and gas, and that's why Ukraine wants to be dependent. But I think the Russian got used to rule the Ukraine, and they don't want to give up on it. So, but eventually, I believe that Ukraine get free of Russia, and they also going to join the three Seas.
So Ukraine
So
would be included in the three Seas?
yeah, I'm sure that's the whole idea is about it, that the Ukraine asking to join NATO, but that's not a good idea, So President Trump tried to kind of build up and help to build the three Seas, so maybe Russia will accept that. And also, not only United States helping us, but also Britain helping Poland to create the three Seas. So,
Unapologetic American, thanks for sharing us on on your YouTube. Greatly appreciate that. Dad, what is the what are your thoughts on, so in terms of like Ukrainian territory, part of Trump's like negotiation deals for ending the Russia-Ukrainian war has to do with like Putin not taking any further land, and then also Ukraine recognizing that Crimea is part of Russia. Do you think this is an acceptable solution, or should the Ukrainians continue to fight, which would require still continued resources from the USA and Europe and everything? Or do you think this is an acceptable way to finish this war?
well, the war will continue for a longer time only because Russia not gonna try to give up on Ukraine. So there is no really peaceful solution. Then Russia gonna find out, hey, we're losing too much money on it. It's same thing happened in Afghanistan when the Soviet Union recognized that okay, we're losing too much money, our economy going down, we cannot handle anymore Afghanistan, so they leave Afghanistan. And the same thing gonna happen eventually with Ukraine, that Russia gonna find out that they cannot handle the war anymore. So President Trump, he knows that we put a lot of money in Ukraine, and he wants that money to be paid back by the Ukrainian. And he little bit saying, hey, if you're not gonna sign the mineral rights to us, then we're not gonna help you. We already spent like 350 billion, and Ukrainian kind of denied that. So where did the money go? You know. So now President Trump wants the European, mostly German, because he's the richest country in Europe, to help Ukraine. Hey, give some few cents too to that struggle with the war in Ukraine. United States is not that much gaining anything from Ukraine. If we cannot get those mineral rights, then we're gonna lose all that money what we invest in Ukraine. So let the European a little bit help too, And if you understand the NATO, Poland paying 5% to NATO, and Germany didn't want to pay. What's funny thing that when the war in Ukraine started, then Germany just sent like 500 helmets. That's not going to help Ukraine to win, to fight the Russians, okay? They need really the new technology to beat the Russians out of Ukraine.
Yeah, but it seems like, we just hit the 100 days of Trump now in office. So promises made, promises kept. His part of his campaign promises include ending the Palestinian war, the Palestinian-Israeli war, and also the Ukrainian-Russian war. And so you guys comment in the chat, like, what are your thoughts on the peace proposal that Trump's suggesting, of basically saying, okay, you have to recognize Crimea as part of Russia and for Putin no longer to take any more lands. His ultimate goal, and he has said this repeatedly, is to stop the killing of 5,000 lives, both on the Russian and the Ukrainian side, that occur like every week. Because with the death toll being as high as it is, like I think Ukraine has already lost like 40,000 troops, or sorry, not just troops, like civilians included, but like, where do you see like a peaceful resolution, and do you guys think that the solution that Trump is proposing is an acceptable one?
Well, of course, Putin is a KGB guy trained to always win, and he's not gonna give up so easily on Ukraine. Okay, but eventually people are gonna get pissed off against him, and I'm sure either he will have no choice. Just if he's gonna see that he's losing too much, he have to give up on Ukraine and accept what President Trump proposed. Okay, and President Trump has a lot of good ideas. Okay. Not only the tariffs, but also the solution for the Palestinian people. I mentioned to my daughter a long time ago, before President Trump mentioned that, well, the Palestinians, they're never going to have peace in a situation like this. The people who don't want to fight in Palestine or Gaza Strip, what they call, they can live to another better life. I didn't want to live in Poland. I came to America, but I came basically illegally. I was fingerprinted and went through that immigration process and stuff like that. And that's what we should do to Palestinian people, that place them in a safer place. And whatever President Trump has in his mind, we should follow that. About that. And same thing with there is a problem because some other countries like Iran try to play tough, and the solution it is that President Trump tried to solve everything peaceful,
Peace through strength.
because in a war there is never gonna be the winner, okay? Because both sides, when they fighting, both of them just shed the blood,
Yeah, it's always the civilians that are caught in the middle of it, and
Yeah,
it's the
and
same thing as
mostly the
any form of retribution. If you go for
civilian
revenge,
paying the price, yes.
if you go for revenge, prepare to dig two graves. I want to change gears because you had mentioned about like your experience with coming to America. Not everybody here knows your story. Some of you guys do, because we've talked about this in the past. But Dad had mentioned how like, oh, he was fingerprinted, and it was a little bit more intense with that, like his journey from Soviet occupied Poland and then crossing from Yugoslavia into Italy. So I'll turn the mic over to you, Dad, and you can talk about your experience of your journey coming to America and then living the American dream.
Yeah, I was refugee, staying in Italy, went through that. They check on me if I'm not a criminal, if the Interpol got involved and police, okay. And I immigrate to America, and
You
I
stayed
was so
actually at
happy.
a detention center too when you first arrived, crossing into the Italian border. And then the laws of that at that time also was that if you were able to make it out of the Soviet bloc, because after all, who would want to leave paradise is what they said, but they had that they had it so you couldn't see what was behind the screen of what was actually going on in the Soviet Union, of what life was truly like under communism. So I guess let's backtrack a little bit and talk about what were your motivations for wanting to leave the Soviet bloc.
Well, one thing, I was growing up in a poor life in Poland, and I see that I didn't have a chance to see the world, what really is the other side, and my mind was always thinking whenever I look on a map, there is America. I want to get there. I don't know what exactly was in my head, but I knew I want to go over there, And we couldn't get a passport. We wasn't free to leave Poland, and it was very hard to. But the chance for me was that we still could go to Yugoslavia. And Yugoslavia was like between.
Was part of the Soviet bloc as well, right?
No, not really. It was communist, but actually they had a President Tito, which was actually keep Yugoslavia like between the West and East, And actually, I crossed the border because I knew there is some I can get help, But I went to the police, and they put me in a refugee camp, like I said. I've been checked, if I'm not some kind of criminal or
What was your
anything like that.
experience like inside of that refugee camp? It was you first were in a detention center, or was that the same thing as the refugee camp? Or like
No,
once you first detained and like they background checked you, they fingerprinted you, you were investigated by the was it CIA and Interpol, and talk through that experience.
well, basically, when I went to the police have been very helpful, and they placed me right away in a hotel in Rome, and they told me because it was Sunday, so they says next day come to they call Questura. Okay, so come to Questura 9 o'clock, and I went over there and show my ID, and they check everything, investigate who I am, and then they send me to Trieste. I don't know if anybody know where is Trieste, but it's on the border of Yugoslavia and Italy, and they put me in a refugee camp. We've been actually they helped me. They gave me even some money, okay, and they gave us food, and we've been okay to leave from 8 o'clock in the morning and come back before 11 at night. Okay,
What was the
so
volume load of refugees coming from that were crossing over from Yugoslavia into Italy at the time? Like, was it like here in our southern borders we have like such a huge influx that it overloads our systems and everything? Did Italy experience that with the amount of volume of people claiming asylum, seeking asylum that were coming through
yeah,
the Soviets?
anybody from the communist bloc, even Yugoslavian, they've been allowed to come to Italy, and they placed them in the refugee camp. And refugee camp was okay because we got a place to sleep and a little bit of food, and we've been free to even a little bit work. So it was nice. I spent 6 months in Italy, and I really enjoyed over there. And then when the time came, all the papers was ready. They sent me to America, where I got a
Canada first, right?
right Canada,
first.
where they gave me a 6 months school, English school. Then they gave me a job for Chrysler.
Now, so I was asking about like the volume load for it because like when it comes to every country accepting a certain amount of refugees, there's like an allotted amount of that it spreads out like the refugees across like different programs across the world. So Dad ended up going to Canada, but his options were Canada and Australia, right? And so you had chosen to go through Canada because your ultimate goal was to make it to the USA and immigrate there. But what was like when you were crossing the border, for instance, were there a lot of people crossing the border? Was it like a flood of people that we see in our southern border? Not today, because Trump took care of that. But what we've seen in the previous years under the Biden administration, was it like thousands of people coming through?
Well, I would say in the camp there was like at the time was like 500 people from, but people been shipping to America wherever they want to go. At that time, the Australia, United States, and Canada was taking the most refugee, and I signed first for Australia, but I didn't know too much about Australia. But my friends was
So I could have been half Australian technically, or in another life.
well, my friends over there, they've been going to Canada, and I says, okay, I'm gonna go with you guys to Canada, which probably was the right thing to do for me. But eventually, I end up in America, working for in California. I work for Tiger Air, and then I get a job with Continental United, and where I spent 35 years. And I retired 6 years ago at age 70.
The part of the reason why you want to help the homeless is because you went through your own experience of being homeless, and so our family is an example of living the American dream, where one generation could come from poverty, then the next generation live a very comfortable life, which is the American dream, like, and something that's unique to a capitalist society as opposed to like a communist society, which once you're born into a station in life, there's no upward mobility despite how hard you work. Can you talk about like what what motivated you to now be so passionate about helping the homeless?
Well, when I came to Italy, of course, in Poland, I couldn't make that much money. So when I came to Italy, actually, I didn't have any money and I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know the procedures. So, like for 10 days, I just was, says even the police gonna turn me back to Poland. At least I can see what Italy looks like, and I was just actually barefoot walking all the countries across. Like I went to Venice and Rome and Napoli.
You actually overshot the refugee camp, right? Because when you were trying to like turn yourself into the authorities to claim asylum, you didn't know exactly where it was
I didn't
located,
know that
right?
is a refugee camp. No, then uh, actually one I don't know if he was policeman or security guy on a train station. He explained to me, and then I find out that there is something that they can help me, and that's what I uh, used his information. And but when I went to Rome, not Rome, first Napoli to Questura, I didn't speak English, I didn't speak Italian, so they says you have to go to Rome. So I went to Rome, and then and Rome they fixed my problems, So, but I experienced a little bit homelessness, because I couldn't afford to get a place to sleep, so I slept on the ground, sometimes with the stone under my head, that was my pillow. Stone was my pillow.
I think the first time that I had realized about this part of your past life was actually when I went on a trip with Dad and my mom to Italy, and when we were in Rome, and Dad knew his way around. I'm like, how do you know how to get around Italy? I thought this was all of our first trips, and so he's like, oh no, I was like here homeless, and so I learned the streets. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's why I'm always thinking about how we can solve the homelessness. And I have the idea, but like I said, I'm writing to letters to President Trump. Okay, I cannot explain to him everything what is in my mind, but hopefully, eventually, if they give me a little bit time, I'm not exactly asking for to see President Trump, but Elon Musk, he's the guy with the big visionary, and I'm sure he can understand my projects, what we can do, and I think my project is very big, and it will solve the really uh, retirees problem and homeless problems in America. And then we can say America is the great country when we're not going to see homeless people on the street, because you cannot see so many homeless in even poor country like in America. So I will be fighting for the homeless and retirees problems here in America, and eventually maybe somebody can hear me.
Absolutely, Dad. I think what is interesting also about your story is like, is you're very outspoken against illegal immigration and illegal border crossings, and so it's interesting that you came from a refugee background and have a very strict or you have your perspective is very strict on legal immigration, and so you came through a legal process though when you claimed asylum. How do you reconcile like your present day perspective with your own experience from the past? Like, do you feel like it's that there are, if it's cognitive dissonance or what? Do you feel it reconciles?
Well, the idea what I have in my project would solve, I'm sure, the problems with the refugee who really wants to come to America. and they deserve to be legalized here. Okay, because basically what I'm against that if it's open border, a lot of criminals coming here. We don't know who they are, what they're doing in this country. We have a lot of drug problems, and just think they just shipping the drugs either through Canadian border or through Mexican border, and we like a lawless country. We cannot do anything about it. And then finally, we got a president who tried to do something, but I I don't understand still why the Democrats crying about it. We got one senator who went just to El Salvador to see that MS-13 criminal guy,
TDA, the Tren de
and
Aragua, yeah.
when they asked him who paid for it, he says the taxpayer pay. So you went like on somebody's, money to have vacation,
Yeah, so how he
And
spent the
plus this, you make a
taxpayers'
picture
dollars on
with the
margaritas.
criminal guy, MS-13, drinking
TDA, yeah.
margarita. So what kind of senator you are? You have to be American, solving the American problems.
Yeah.
Not solving the another problems in another country, especially with the criminals. Shame yourself, Senator.
Exactly. The reason I was questioning about like what was like the influx of people that were coming across from Soviet occupied countries and then and the Soviet bloc was because like another thing that we have to be like realistic and logical about is the amount that our system can like afford for people, because otherwise you're going to topple the boat. And so of course there are good people who have valid asylum claims, but that's not everybody. And the thing is, when everybody's flooding into the system, it causes like a whole horde of different problems, from human trafficking and human smuggling. Like a third of the people who are being smuggled across for women are become victims of sexual abuse. And it creates a money market for the cartels to be trafficking individuals across. And then I remember when I had crossed from Eagle Pass over to the Mexico side, and then I was with a caravan and I was interviewing them. And so one guy who was able to speak English, he was telling me like, yeah, you see some like women and children here, but like you see it's mostly men. And he goes, I can tell you more than half these guys are criminals, because he's been traveling with them through Mexico up to that point. And so when everyone was making a rush for the border, you're not able to effectively do, the job of border security, of vetting everybody. And so like basically everybody was just released in. And so part of Trump's like reinstating part of Trump's policy of the Remain in Mexico policy is you can apply for asylum, but from on the Mexico side. And also I think that people don't realize that just because you're getting into America, you have a valid asylum claim, because the concept of claiming asylum is the first safe country that you get through. So for a lot of these countries, it might be Mexico, but it's wherever they first like hit, that's a safe place. And we saw that people would be dumping their IDs and hiding their identification of where they're actually from, because they wouldn't have a valid asylum claim for the USA. They'd have a valid asylum claim possibly for Mexico or any of the further south countries and everything. But their goal is to come to America, of course, like for a better life, as everybody wants. But at the same time, our system can just not handle that amount. And so that's why every country has a certain amount of like a refugee quota that they're able to take based on their like prosperity or like size. And so when we're flooding into the system, that's when a lot of like loose ends come in. And that's why we have a lot of people who don't have valid asylum claims and who do have criminal histories, who like countries like Venezuela, who are just dumping out their criminals to be able to like leave their country and then and come over into the USA, and fast forward to the problems that we're having today.
Well, America is a big country, and one thing, we can bring some more people, but we want to bring the good people without criminal record, who wants to come and really work and do something for our country, from the United States. So my idea it is, if we can create a farm on the Mexican border, okay, where the people come over there and wait till the uh, will be create process for them, and they prove they are good people, not just that they can just come and cross the border wherever they want, okay, and probably the some government people can come over there and check on them if they need them to America. The companies maybe they can hire them, so we can do the legal way of people who wants to come to America.
Yes, absolutely. So, thank you, Mr. Bill. So, people from communist and real authoritarian countries know more about the need for borders and sovereignty. Exactly. What are your thoughts on that comment, Dad? From your experience, is that where your drive for a secure border comes from?
Well, one thing, you can take example right now that if the country is in a war and people perhaps feel in danger, like right now, Ukrainian people leaving the Ukraine to protect the children, the husband should fight for Ukraine, but the mother with the children, they should seek the safe haven, and that's what originally came like 6 million people to Poland, and Poland really helped them. Okay, now they diminish is probably less than 3 million in Poland, and Polish people still helping them, to make them feel comfortable. They helping the children, they putting them to school. The mothers offering the mothers jobs. If they cannot get a job, they have some help from the government. So this is the right idea. But if you come for a country where there is no war, and maybe you want to get to United States, you should come legally way, So you can go to NBC or showing what you are, what you want to do in United States. If you have some education, like uh, United States needs a lot of nurses, and that's why we're bringing a lot of nurses to America. It's a legal way. So we still need a lot of people here, but those people who really think that America is a great country for them, they should wait on another country, which we can help create like a farm for them. That in the meantime, where they will be processed, they can wait over there and prove themselves that they are good people.
Absolutely. Dad, I'm going to direct your attention back to the Polish elections that are coming across. So why do you feel who's the candidate you're rooting for, and can you tell us about him, and why do you think the Polish people should be voting for him?
Well, the candidate which we like it, most of the people like it, and he's kind of independent. He doesn't belong to any party. He called himself citizen candidate, and his name is Karol Nawrocki. So I'm gonna repeat again. So people are gonna remember him. Karol Nawrocki, and he's pro-American. He wants fighting for the Polish people, and he wants Poland to see independent, sovereign country, and be very close to America. So Poland needs a candidate like that to be a president, because we still want to develop. And the biggest problem, what it is right now in Poland, that the Law and Justice Party wants to build one of the biggest airports in Europe, and the party which is now in power, they don't want to do that. They want to also, the Law and Justice, build the nuclear power plant, which already they signed with Westinghouse, American company, and second nuclear power plant they signed with South Korea, of course. and everything is on a hold because we have the right better government. But one thing, the Polish president, he's a good president, but all the power it is in prime minister. Okay, Polish president have not that much to say, especially that the prime minister is backed by the German government, which want to, in a way, destroy Poland because they want to put Poland dependent on the German rules. And as you know, the German wants Americans out from Europe, and that's why President Trump really fighting to create the three Cs in Poland, and I hope he's gonna achieve that.
What are the relations like between Poland and America? Would you say they're good, bad, could do better? What?
Well, Poland is kind of mixed because there are some people who've been dominated by the Russians, and there's some people who are been dominated by Germans, and the third people are the Polish patriots. Okay, so we're still getting a little bit more those patriots in Poland. So those patriots love America. They want be with Americans, especially that we have like 20 million Polish people in America, and they supporting the Polish people, the patriots who want the sovereign country, and we have no choice. If we're gonna get under the German rules, Poland is in trouble. If we're gonna get under the Russian rules, Poland is in trouble. So only one choice, the best choice, it is to be with America.
All right, so we're coming up to an hour, guys. So be sure to join us again on Thursday. So we'll be back to regularly live streaming for you guys at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Before we wrap up, Dad, any closing remarks?
Okay, guys, I really love you that you are with us, and hopefully you're gonna spread my idea, to President Trump and Elon Musk, because really that will help Americans to be really a great, create MAGA and to make America great again. That really will help me. So at the next I'm gonna show you a little bit more about my letters to President Trump and Elon Musk, which I'm sending once a week to them, and no response to this time. Okay, so maybe you can guys help me to improve my letter. So I'm gonna show you what my letter looks like. Okay. Thank you very much for being with us.
And Mr. Bill, I was a rambunctious child growing up, so you're not wrong that I did break a few rules of my own while growing up to become the outstanding citizen I am this day. All right, guys, thanks again for joining us during this live stream. Be sure you like, share, and subscribe. Be sure you comment in the chat, as well as comment in the video posted. That really helps to drive the algorithm, and we really appreciate it. We're trying to get our view hours up so we can get the channel remonetized. We look forward to, after this, I'm going to be working on our videos from this weekend, so I'll be dropping the next couple of days the 100-year anniversary of Oviedo, Florida, and also the Mount Dora Blueberry Festival. And I think this upcoming weekend we're planning on hitting another festival that's out in Claremont, which is it's a home and garden festival. So it's been interesting to see like local businesses that deal with like local farms and local produce, and learning about connecting with their community by going out to these different festivals and supporting the local businesses, and just overall having a great time while supporting our dear President Trump. And again, I can say it enough. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you again for joining in with us, and we will see you on Thursday, guys.
And Tara was always a good child. I'm very proud of her.
Thanks, Dad. All right. Good night, and I'll see you on Thursday.